Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Campus Care at Talks. I am Nandini Upadhyay, your host for the show. Would like to welcome you all. So, let me tell you a bit about EdTalks. So, EdTalk is a platform where educators and leaders like you come on board and express their viewpoints related to education and society. So, our topic for discussion is the power of education, unlocking potential and shaping future. To express their viewpoints on the same, we have with us our very first is the moderator of the show is Miss Vibha ma'am, who is the founder principal of the Sri Ram Global School, Delhi. Welcome, Vibha ma'am.
Thank you so much. Namaskar, everyone.
The first panelist for the show is Mr. Pavan Singh, who is the principal of Birla Shishu Vihar, Pilani, Rajasthan. Welcome, Pavan sir. Next, we have with us Miss Pratha Venugopal ma'am, who is the principal of Hari Shri Vidyanidhi School, Trishur. Welcome, Pratha ma'am.
Everybody.
Next, we have with us Mr. Uma Shankar sir, who is the principal of Guru Govind Singh Public School, Dhanbad. Welcome, Uma
Hello,
sir.
everybody. Hello, everybody. Good evening.
Next, we have with us Dr. Preeti ma'am, who is the principal of Billabong High International School, Gujarat. Welcome, Preeti ma'am. Next, we have with us Mr. Ajay Singh sir, who is the principal of the Sindhya School, Gwalior.
Good evening, everybody.
Next, we have with us Miss Alpana ma'am, who is the principal of Vedas International School, Gurugram. Welcome, Alpana ma'am.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Next is Mr. Sanjay Datta sir, who is the CEO of Maharana Mewar Public School, Udaipur. Welcome, Sanjay sir.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Next is Vijay Kumar sir, who is the director of MDN Public School, Kaithal. Welcome, sir. We have with us Dr. Navneet Kaur ma'am, who is the principal of the Sri Ram Universal School, Ludhiana. Welcome, Navneet ma'am.
Namaste, everyone.
Next is Miss Archana Mishra ma'am, who is the principal of D.Y. Patil International School, Dhanbad. And also we have Dr. Pooja Walia ma'am, the principal of Pratap Public School, Karnal. Welcome, Pooja ma'am.
Thank you. Namaskar, everyone.
We have with us Dr. Trilok Singh Bhish sir, who is the principal of Brahm Dutt Blue Bell School, a public school, Gurugram. Welcome, sir.
Namaskar. Thank you so much for inviting us here. Thank you.
And last, we have Pushkal Giri sir, who is the director of St. Joseph School, Siwan, Bihar. Welcome, Pushkal
Thank
sir.
you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Namaskar to all.
A very warm welcome to all the educators once again, and so good to have you all here today. And thank you so much for taking out your precious time from your busy schedule. So let's start with our today's session. So as I told you in the beginning, the moderator of the show is ma'am. So over to Vibha ma'am.
Thank you so much. Okay, so I think everybody is eagerly waiting to hear out because there are great people with us, all principals, and I'm sure this session is going to have a lot of good, insightful deliberations. So, without further ado, I will ask my first question to Dr. Pushkar Giri sir. Sir, how does access to quality education positively impact the community development and individual prosperity? Over to you, sir.
Thank, thank you, ma'am. And once again, a very warm good evening to all of you. And I am very thankful to this platform who have given me this opportunity to talk on this topic. My topic is about quality education for the individual community. So first of all, we need to have how can we develop quality education, because still we are facing for the traditional pattern of our curriculum. So we need to upgrade our curriculum first, and we need to focus on the holistic development of the children, 360-degree holistic development, including the critical and creative thinking, problem-based learning, competency-based learning, and so on. Because unless we will have this type of creativity among the students, we cannot pop up them through the holistic development. So first of all, to develop the quality education, we need to focus on that. Secondly, as a teacher, we are the facilitator, we are the harbinger, we are the nurturer for the society. And for that, as a school leader or educator, we need to improve ourselves. And time to time, we need to upgrade ourselves. That is needed. Just simply, we are talking about mobile phone. After 3 or 5 or 7 days, it's just having the upgradation. The same thing with our mind also. Unless we need to upgrade ourselves, we need to focus the upgradation time to time. The changes are there, and per day we should have the learner. And as a learner, we need to focus what are the changes, what are the present scenario for the development of the education system as a teacher first. For that, we can conduct CBP, CPD, and FDP also. And then we create, because according to me, we need to focus on two C's. Two C's are one C for the connect and another C for the correct. So unless we connect our students, we cannot correct them. So to correct them, we need to first connect. And why? How can we connect them? To have different type of project work, presentation, portfolios, and so on. And we have to mingle all these challenges among the students to cope up, to develop these focus areas where we can have only to deliver the holistic progress. And then this concept will be much related to how can we have the qualitative first. So in present scenario, these are the basic challenges. Every education fraternity needs to improve himself or herself, that how can we indulge this among the students first. And we need to connect them, and then you can correct. And while we need to have, suppose that we are taking the group activity, and if we still traditional pattern of learning put up, we not develop holistic. So for that, we need to make some problem-based part of also to develop curriculum. And apart from that, when we evaluate and feedback, that is very, very important. Suppose that we are taking for say 4 or 5 classes, so we have to focus. We have to analyze ourselves to last 30 to 40 minutes. To after getting the class, we need to imply the what are the LO. How can we have the LO among the all students between that 30 to 40 minutes? That is very, very important. So to get the learning outcome, we need to focus on the feedback, that how much the relevancy is done in the particular class. And accordingly, we need to analyze ourselves day to day. And after that, if we focus on day to day, the feedback pattern among the students, definitely we will focus to develop the quality education among the students. And we can only develop our entire fraternity or teaching community or individual development community, we can also develop. That is the main mantra according to me. And for that, according to me, just simply if we have the ITIS method among the students, ITIS method is just like whatever we have the outcomes, I mean the learning objectives in the classroom, they will get and they will just visit their home, and this same pattern follow among they can teach their parents, they can teach their grandparents. It will be build up their confidence level, presentation level, and so on. And that in mingling all the points, we can have the concept of quality education among the students and for our society also. That is all. Yes, ma'am.
He rightly said, sir. And I think, once you've mentioned about a few things about quality education, I would now like to take my question to Dr. Pooja Walia, ma'am, that what are the key challenges that we have in ensuring that, there's equal educational opportunity for all individuals, which is regardless of their socio-economic background or their geographical location. So over to you, Pooja, ma'am, if you could just tell us something about this.
Yeah, thank you so much for the question, ma'am. I guess we can broadly categorize these challenges into three parts or domains. So the first one would be the resource disparities or the availability of economic facilities. Now, this is a very broader thing, so to say, or a broader challenge, so to say, because with the availability of resources comes the availability of trained and academically qualified, updated, quality teaching staff. Also comes the availability of educational technical infrastructure with the coming of internet and online self-educating modules. Then again, with finances come the basic amenities or the school infrastructure. Now that with the CBSE, we have lifts or ramps compulsory. So everything comes with money. And the overall availability of a good computer lab or a good library, rich library, everything has financials involved. So I understand that being the first challenge that one has to try and overcome. The second broad barrier which I can think of is maybe a cultural or a socio kind of a barrier. So there are minorities and maybe they feel marginalized. For example, if I talk about class 12th political science and history curriculum that we are right now following, so there may be certain minorities who feel offended or they feel left out with the kind of contents that are being shared, or maybe they don't engage themselves that much of understanding because they feel that probably their group is being left out while other groups are being covered as a part of the entire curriculum. And then maybe the third category would be some conflict prone zones. Sometimes they appear. There could be political reasons, there could be economic reasons, there could be reasons which are actually related to the student unions or workers' union. For example, the abrogation of 370 article in Kashmir saw the close down of the schools for so many months. Similarly, what we are witnessing now in Manipur is again, the schools are completely off for the kids. So even if in such areas where the areas which are conflict prone, even the internet would be down, so there is no means for such students to take their regular studies, and especially for the boards, maybe for the competitive exams, the children need to prepare, and then therefore they feel left out. That is the group where I feel that these are the broad three challenges. If maybe there are others attached to it, but then broadly speaking, these are understandably the three ones. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Very clearly and, a very analytical approach, the way you got it. So, with the challenges, we also take the thread further. So, I would like to take it to Dr. Navneet Kaur, ma'am, that in what ways can education help to address the social issues which are like poverty, inequality, and discrimination? Like Dr. Pooja just spoke about this. So, Dr. Navneet, ma'am, if you could just, put some more light on this.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you. To understand how education can help to address social issues like poverty, inequality, and discrimination, one must understand the learnings about social issues and its effects. Social issues are a result of ignorance, prejudice, and lack of education. These are unfavorable conditions that challenges society or a particular segment of it. Social issues lead to inequality, injustice, sufferings, and can even lead to societal inability. And education plays an important role in the evolution of mankind. It is an instrument for holistic development for any individual, which forms the basis of any society. Therefore, education can help eradicate social issues by promoting a better understanding of these problems and providing the means to tackle them. It also encourages critical thinking and questioning, which can lead to a more informed and tolerant society. It plays crucial role in reducing poverty and inequality by providing individuals with knowledge, skills, opportunities to improve their economic and social status, leading to better health, increased productivity, and reduced poverty and discrimination by introducing laws and policies that promote inclusion.
Ma'am, you're not audible. I think it's got muted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So we all know about New Education Policy 2020's motto: educate, encourage, enlighten. Truly, education is a ladder to a brighter future and continuous growth for all. I also believe that expansion of education is not solely the responsibility of government. Instead, every individual in a community should stand up and as much as we can do for the education for the children of this country. This can be done by volunteering, donating through the help of non-profit organization of underprivileged children. We know many of organization, and recently I underwent one organization. I was touched with the vision of that organization. The name was Ebenezer Community School in Delhi. The vision of the school is to see confident students empowered to improve their lives and purposefully and positively influence their community. That shows the ownership transformation. To conclude, social evils are often interconnected. Poverty can lead to increased crime rates, while discrimination can foster social exclusion and violence. Addressing them requires a concerted efforts from all sectors of society, including individual communities and institutions. And to eradicate them fully, we need dynamic education, awareness, and strict laws. I'll conclude by saying what Richard Branson says: every success story is a tale of constant adaptation, revision, and change. And being a facilitator, I believe this is our duty to take the challenge responsibility. Thank you. Namaste.
Very beautifully worded, Dr. Navneet Kaur. And, we've spoken about a bit of inclusion. We've also spoken about, how education can address the issues, what are the challenges which we are facing. And now something which, when we talk about reimagining the education, something which is really coming up is the integration of the technology. So I would like to ask Trilok Singh Bish, sir, that how does integration of technology in the education sector influence the learning experiences and the students readiness for the future workforce? So over to you, sir.
Namaskar, everyone. Good evening. And I think the question is so beautiful. When we talk about technology integration in the education system, and with this technology integration, how we are going to prepare the workforce for the future. I think there were two questions together, and I think they're very, very, very much linked with each other. I think technology is going to be the most important thing for the education sector today. Technology integration in the education sector is going to have a profound impact on the learning experience and all the students studying in different schools. If students' readiness for the future workforce is there or not depends on how we are integrating the technology into the education. I have some pointers which I just jotted down. Here are several ways in which the technology influences education and prepares children for the challenges of the workforce. If you really look at it, the first thing which comes to my mind is enhance engagement and motivation. In the class, when the teacher is teaching without technology integration, when there is nothing else, only teachers speaking, children are listening, the engagement of children and the motivation goes down. Technology offers interactive and multimedia elements that make learning more engaging and more enjoyable. Especially the gamified educational tools and the platforms can increase the students' motivation to participate in the lessons and the activities. They are not passive listeners in their class, they start participating. Secondly, I feel that if we have the technology integrated in the education system, it will make a personalized learning system in the school system. Technology allows for the adaptive learning platforms that cater to individual learning styles and paces and addressing the diverse needs of the students. In our school, like we have the personal PLP, we call it personalized learning programs, where the children who are not able to understand in the class and the teacher doesn't have the time to take the difficulty of the children, they give them the time at 5 o'clock, 5:30 in the evening, come on the Microsoft Teams or the Zoom or the technical platform, the digital platform, where the teacher can take 15-20 minutes to just cover up the difficulty of the child so that all these problems or the issues are not accumulated and child is ready for the next day's lesson at least. Third point which I have noted down is access to information. Today, with the internet spread all around, the children have access to vast amount of information, enabling them to explore beyond the traditional textbooks and learn from various sources. Online sources, resources facilitate independent research. Children can become the independent researchers. They can become independent, project based learning can happen. We can promote the critical thinking and information literacy skills amongst the children. Next is collaborative learning. When we talk about the technology integration, technology enables collaborative projects. Children sitting at remote locations, they can sit together on their internet. They can sit on their Teams or any of the platforms and discuss the points. They can share a link where everybody can put their pointers. They can improvise the presentation, even if it is a PPT presentation or whatever they are doing. They can make it as a link so that everybody can collaborate and give their own information into it. I think technology has made it very easy for the children to be sitting at remote places and yet doing the collaborative learning. So virtual collaboration tools prepare the students for the future workshop workplaces where remote teamwork is increasingly common. These days, the people are working from home. People are working all over the world. They can work anywhere from any place. And I think this collaborative learning will prepare the children as a future workforce. And next point of which I believe is developing the digital literacy. Integrating technology helps the children develop the essential digital literacy skills, including the proficiency with the software, online communication, and information management. These skills are crucial for success in technology driven workforce in the future because the workforce is going to be different altogether. Then preparation for the tech driven jobs. Explore exposure to technology in education provides the students with a hands-on experience and skills which will be relevant to the modern tech-driven professions, which they are going to be the workforce of the future altogether. Programming, data analysis, and other technical skills become increasingly important for various career paths, and schools can prepare the children in all this through the technology integration. Global learning opportunities. Even for the global learning opportunities, technology enables the students to connect with their peers, their educators, and the experts globally. All over the world, they can look for the people, fostering a broader perspective and cultural awareness. And virtual exchanges and collaborative project prepare students for a globalized workforce. Then comes our adaptability and lifelong learning. Technology is changing with every day you find something is changed. Every 3 months you find things are changing. We started with Chat GPT and so many other tools, and we find what are the pros and cons, and then we try to improvise. So technology integration encourages an attitude of adaptability and the continuous learning as students, because students become familiar with the evolving tools and the methods, and lifelong learning skills will become an essential aspect of the student's life, because staying competitive in a rapidly changing job market is will be the need of the hour. And this technology will really make the children more adaptive altogether. And last but not the least, I find efficiency in administration and assessment. Education technology streamlines the administrative tasks for educators, for us, how to make the things better, whether sending a Google form and asking the parents to send, and we get the bar charts, we get the pie charts. We don't have to read the humongous data. just in the form of the pie charts and all. We can get the things easily and we can conclude the things, allowing them to focus more on individual student need rather than doing the paperwork only. Then automated assessment tools provide timely feedback, because we take the test for the children, we take 10 days to correct. When we give it, by the time the tempo is gone altogether. Whereas with this technology integration, if we have automated assessment tools in the school, it will give a timely feedback to the children, and that can be feed forwarded to the children and their parents timely, helping the students understand their progress and what are the areas of improvement they need to work on. In summary, in totality, I must say that technology integration and education transforms the complete learning experience for a child, equipping every student with the skills and mindsets needed for the future workshop. It will enhance the engagement, it will encourage the children for collaboration, it will prepare the individuals to navigate the rapidly evolving and technology driven professional landscape. I think technology is there to stay forever now in this 21st century. And I think technology embedded education or technology integrated education will really pave path towards the future workforce, which can be prepared by all of us as educators. Thank you so much. My 4 minutes are over. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir. You were
Vibhavan.
so crisp, and the way you, spoke about all these things, beautifully worded. And now, since we've been actually talking about the new education policy, and we are also talking about inclusion. So, my next question goes to Ajay Singh, sir. Sir, what are the strategies, that educational institutions should implement to support students with diverse learning needs, including those who have disabilities and special talents?
Yeah, that's a very, very relevant question. I think the starting point of the NEP would have also considered this note, because inclusivity has been brought in a big way in the NEP, and that's to realize the individual differences which exist in learners, especially. So when we look at strategies, we need to understand first and foremost that as educators, we need to understand the learning is only the goal which can be achieved by the processes and the content and the product, which happens in a learning environment, right? So when you talk about strategies, first and foremost is what kind of learning environment exists in the particular school or inside the classroom. So that's where we need to have a composite training for the teachers, for the educators, where they need to handle these differences within the classroom. Technically, when we look at the teacher, they teach the average student. That's what we are trained in whatever training you receive. So what happens is the weaker ones and the brilliant ones tend to feel stifled in their own ways. So that's where the techniques comes in. That for the weaker ones, can we have certain designing techniques where their activities can be pre-programmed, their activities can be eased out, they have a mini lesson within a lesson, so that they're targeted accordingly. At the same time, for the higher ups who are really very kind of dynamic and more intellectually gifted, can we design some papers or some worksheets where they are challenged with the level of intellect that they have? So it all depends upon how the teachers approach the classroom with the realization that every child is different. So that's the first starting point. Now, if you break it up, the content. Now, every lesson is in a textbook with a designated content. Now, how do you break that content is important. So that's where we need to understand and bring in Gardner's theory, bring in the elements of different styles of learning, which connects with the process which we work in the classroom. So when you're teaching children which you find are challenged, then use certain techniques like peer learning. A peer would teach better than a teacher, is what I've found technically. Then when you look at the product, the kind of tactile or visual or kinesthetic or auditory learning which is involved, we need to ensure that elements get incorporated in our lesson plans. And that can happen. This will add on to the workload of the teacher. That is where the problem comes in, because teachers are loaded. We have to respect that and include it. Now, when you design even the homework, we need to take care that the homeworks are also designed as per their needs. So the homework is not a punishment, rather it's an information of differentiation. So before you start a classroom, you begin with differentiation. When you end the classroom, you end with a differentiation. When you do assessments, you have differentiation. The first thing which I sit with my colleagues is, when you have taken a test, have you noticed the number of questions which most of them have not answered? Have you noticed a pattern emerging when some questions are not being answered? So that's a signal to us as educators. There is where the input is needed. So differentiation is the key to first recognize and then organize that there are different learners, and then the training to the teachers on all the four domains: how to handle the content, how to reinforce the process, how to design products so that differentiation can happen, both in assignments and as well as in assessment. And it all starts with creating a learning environment which is safe, conducive, inclusive, and also takes care of the entire class. That's, I think, the process and the way forward.
Very nicely worded, Ajay sir. So with this, I move on to the next one. And this goes to Preeti Shrimal ma'am. Ma'am, how can educators, Ajay sir spoke a bit about it, but you could just speak a little bit more on that. How can educators actually foster a sense of creativity, critical thinking, and innovation, problem solving among the students?
So, very good evening. It was a pleasure listening to all the learned speakers. And all of us as educators know that without creativity, problem solving, there can be absolutely no progress. If there is no innovation, we would always be repeating the same patterns again and again. And a classroom being a microcosm of the macrocosm, which is going to be inherited by the children, there's a lot that we need to do in a classroom environment. We have to encourage curiosity, at the same time an inquiry-based learning process. And this can be done by embedding the learning environment, which is always valuing questions, encouraging open-ended answers, and also at the same time motivating students to think on their own, to imagine and to create, and also to come up with their own original ideas and perspectives. So for this, we have to facilitate a lot of openness. We have to move from passive to interactive teaching. We'll have to encourage debates, discussions. We'll have to tell children to get into brainstorming sessions, to do a bit of mind mapping, so that they can come up with different creative techniques, because they at the end of it have to learn how to learn themselves. At the same time, in order to foster creativity and innovation, something which has to be really taken into account is, like all my learned friends have shared, we have to incorporate PBL, which is the project-based learning, which encourages children to explore real-world problems in a very simulated environment. And this also gives them an opportunity to connect the classroom learning scenario with the world outside. So there is an application process which needs to be incubated very early in the kids, so that they know that, yes, these are solutions to real life problems. And this has to be done at the school level by creating an environment where there is a cross-disciplinary element, when there is cross-cultural learning happening, and where we also need to provide opportunities for collaboration. Rightly said that collaboration is a very important skill, because that teaches us teamwork, that exposes students to diverse ideas, and at the same time, it fosters a sense of critical thinking and also an innovative mindset. So in a classroom environment and in the school, we have to provide ample opportunities for collaborative activities, be it through clubs, be it through the social groups, be it through outreach programs, or through, of course, having teamwork or project works where there has to be a lot of peer learning happening. So we will need to create that kind of a conducive environment when there is openness to learning, there is openness to sharing. The second most important factor, which of course has already been touched upon by my friends, is to integrate technology. It's extremely important. We cannot isolate technology from the classroom environment, because this creates a dynamism. It makes the entire process of learning more interesting. and also gives a lot of scope for innovation and critical thinking, where children find their own answers and get their own perspective to various questions. Uh, I also feel that it is time that all of us ignite in all the young students in our class a sense of self-reflection. Because, when I know what I am, when I know my strengths, when I'm aware of my own potential, I think I can move ahead, forge ahead to being more critical in my approach, to being a little more innovative. And of course, like we say, encourage all the students to become the best version of themselves. So, an element of reflection is very important. And it also is an important component of metacognition and of enhancing critical thinking. Another point is that we need to create a very diverse learning experience and environment in the classroom. There has to be experiential learning happening. There have to be a variety of hands-on activities, projects. There have to be field trips, a lot of hands-on. There has to be an exposure to the various cultures. There has to be an exposure to the various, the inspirational journeys of people so that they can gain from there. And also at the same time, they can learn. Children need to be inspired. So this inspiration can come from success stories, from the talks by resource people, because, that gives them a platform or a base to take off, from where they can actually take their flight off and move to a different domain of learning or move to a different domain of innovation. Another important factor for encouraging innovation is also to inculcate in all these children an entrepreneurial mindset, which is so very important. We talk of young kids taking part in challenges. You have Shark Tank challenges, you have internship opportunities. All these are extremely important because that completely expands your mental horizons, which is so very important in today's dynamic world, and also preparing the children for a future which they will soon be moving into. I also believe that to create this kind of an ideal scenario in a classroom, there has to be a very positive and supportive environment where every child needs to feel safe, every child needs to feel valued. And we also at the same time have to balance this with praising the effort of the child, and definitely not the marks or the scores or the grades which a child is getting in a classroom. But we have to praise the creativity and the perseverance of the child. And very important, not just the correct answers, but just the fact that the child has got the confidence to stand up and maybe ask a question or maybe just clear his doubts. So this will help a child to become create a happy classroom. And when there's a happy classroom, when there is positivity, definitely all these elements will flow in. And we'll have children thinking on their own. We'll have children innovating and coming up with amazing ideas. Along with this, we need to give flexibility, which is so very important, And of course, one of my friends did share, there has to be the personalized approach to accommodate the various learning styles which every student is gifted with. We need to understand that every child is gifted with a different potential, with a different talent, and also with a different learning capacity, which needs to be nurtured and groomed. And something which is so very important in today's day and time is to cultivate a growth mindset. It's okay not to be perfect. It's okay if you're not able to achieve in the first go. But what you need to do is that failures are your stepping stones. We need to keep on learning. We need to relearn, and we need to become lifelong learners. So that growth mindset is definitely a very important component in the entire journey of creating an innovative or a critical or a creative classroom environment. And as the NEP has suggested, and as most of us are also aware, how we need to integrate the humanities and the arts and also have a STEM culture in our schools. So this will give a holistic approach and will also give a lot of scope for children, to try out different activities, to try out different chart out on different careers, and also to try out different ways and means wherein each one can actually explore his or her potential. Another important thing is, when we talk of creativity, innovation, all that is fine, but somewhere we need to also be very creative in our assessment pattern. Like we say, we need to create, and we need to have our educators understand the importance of not just the marks, but also of how well has the child conceptually understood the content. So it has to be by providing proper feedback, and at different stages, the feedback needs to be given. So there has to be a challenge when we are assessing any kind of an assignment in a classroom, and not just have a stereotype pattern of assessment, because every feedback is a stepping stone or gives a kind of an insight to a child that yes, I need to now improve upon these skills, wherein I will become better at whatever subject or whatever assignment I'm doing. So for us to create, as we say, a generation of empowered and a generation of confident young minds who will be job creators and not job seekers, a lot needs to be done within the classroom environment. And I would like to just end on a quote by Jawaharlal Nehru ji, that the destiny of every nation is crafted inside a classroom. And we as educators definitely are the ones who need to inspire, facilitate, and motivate these young minds to become the best versions of themselves. So we have thinkers, we have innovators, we have creative builders, we have everyone. It's just a matter of igniting the passion in them and sparking the fire in them. So thank you so much. It was a pleasure listening to everyone, and I'm eagerly waiting to hear others' views and opinions.
Thank you, ma'am. It was very apt. You make the children happy and a non-judgmental class, and we have creativity, critical thinking, all starts to flow. So we've been talking about education, and I feel that parents are very, very important when it comes to education, because it's only a confluence of the parents and the school which helps the child to bloom. So I would like to ask my next question to Dr. Vijay Kansal, that what role does parental involvement play in supporting children's education journey, and how can schools actually make it stronger? The home school partnership, how can this be made stronger by the schools? So over to you, Dr. Vijay. Sir, you're muted. Sir, you're muted. Please unmute yourself.
नमस्कार, सभी को हिंदी समझ में आती होगी? अभी काफी सारा डिस्कशन हुआ, सभी प्रिंसिपल्स, डायरेक्टर हैं। सारे डिस्कशन का मेन पॉइंट क्या है? स्टूडेंट सेंटर्ड है, बच्चा है उसमें। तो बच्चे की ग्रोथ चाहिए, उसकी एजुकेशन चाहिए, इमोशनली, सोशली, क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग। इसमें बच्चा सेंटर में है, टीचर, पेरेंट्स, एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, मैनेजमेंट का सबका रोल है। प्रिंसिपल, टीचर्स अपना रोल करते हैं, पेरेंट्स का रोल है। सभी मानते हैं कि बच्चे की प्रोग्रेस में पेरेंट्स का बड़ा क्रूशियल रोल है, लेकिन जो आज देखें ना, पेरेंट्स के पास टाइम नहीं है, वो कितना इन्वॉल्व होते हैं बच्चे की एजुकेशन जर्नी। एक अध्ययन में देखा जाए तो प्राइमरी लेवल तक लगभग 90% पेरेंट्स है बच्चे की एजुकेशन में इन्वॉल्व होते हैं। मिडिल क्लासेज में जाकर के वो 60% तक, सेकेंडरी में जाके 50, और सीनियर सेकेंडरी में तो 10 से 12% पेरेंट्स ही है जो बच्चे की एजुकेशन जर्नी में इन्वॉल्व होते हैं। अब पेरेंट्स की इन्वॉल्वमेंट क्या है कि टीचर्स ने काम करवा दिया, घर बच्चा चला गया, जाके होमवर्क बच्चे ने पूरा करना है सबसे पहले। अब पेरेंट्स की इन्वॉल्वमेंट ये है कि बच्चे को एक एजुकेशनल एनवायरनमेंट घर में प्रोवाइड कर। मोस्टली क्या होता है, स्कूल से आए, स्कूल से आने के बाद ट्यूशन पे भेज दिया बच्चे को, होमवर्क पूरा कर लिया, नेक्स्ट डे स्कूल चला गया। जब पीटीएम हुई या एग्जाम, यूनिट एग्जाम हुए, पेरेंट्स आए कि बच्चे की प्रोग्रेस नहीं है, हमने बढ़िया स्कूल में बच्चे का एडमिशन करवाया, ट्यूशन भी बच्चा जाता है, प्रोग्रेस नहीं। उसमें रीजन क्या है कि बच्चा इमोशनली कहीं कनेक्ट हुआ ही नहीं। पेरेंट्स का जो रोल है डे टू डे, उसमें उसने अपना रोल प्ले नहीं किया। जहाँ हस्बैंड, वाइफ, स्पाउस दोनों ही जॉब में है, उनके पास टाइम नहीं है। सिर्फ बच्चे का होमवर्क पूछ लिया, बेटा पूरा हो गया, ठीक है। जब बच्चा बैठता है घर पे जा करके, अगर मम्मी बैठी है उसकी करेक्शन करेगी, बच्चे को डांटेगी, टीचर ने सब कुछ पढ़ा दिया, बच्चे को घर पे जाके पेरेंट्स की ड्यूटी है, फरीज हो। जो नोट्स दिए टीचर ने पढ़ाया है, बच्चे को खुद काम करने दो। उसके अंदर क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग भी आएगी, राइटिंग स्किल भी आएगी, बहुत सारे उसके अंदर ऐसे टैलेंट है वो डेवलप होंगे। अब पेरेंट्स की ड्यूटी है कि बच्चे को बीच में, बेटा कितना काम हो गया, कुछ रहता है मैं हेल्प करूं, कोई प्रॉब्लम है तो आप फ्रेंड से बात कर ले। उसमें हमने सब किया कि सोशल स्किल डेवलप होनी चाहिए, इमोशनल स्किल। जब पेरेंट्स ने उनसे बात की, उसमें बच्चे के अंदर एक इमोशनल स्किल डेवलप होती है कि मम्मी है, पापा है, मेरे को सपोर्ट करते हैं, ध्यान। जब उसने कहा बेटा आपको समझ में नहीं आता तो आप टीचर से बात कर लीजिए, फ्रेंड से है, जब उनसे कम्युनिकेट करता है तो सोशल स्किल उसमें डेवलप होती है। तो पेरेंट्स को भी हम स्कूल में सभी बुलाते हैं, पीटीएम में बुला लिया है, स्पोर्ट्स मीट हो गई, कल्चरल फेस्ट हो गए, और हो गए, पेरेंट्स आते हैं। लगभग 20 to 30% पेरेंट्स है स्कूल में आते हैं, बहुत से नहीं आते, क्योंकि पेरेंट्स ये सोचते हैं कि हमने स्कूल में एडमिशन दे दिया, फीस जमा करवा दियो, बाकी अब सारी ड्यूटी टीचर्स की है स्कूल की। क्योंकि पेरेंट्स को अगर बच्चे की प्रोग्रेस चाहिए, इन्वॉल्व होना। अब साथ में घर में टीवी चला हुआ है या मोबाइल पे हम बात कर रहे हैं, हर बच्चे से ही उम्मीद करते हैं कि बच्चा बैठ के पढ़ेगा, नहीं पॉसिबल नहीं। पेरेंट्स को उसके लेवल पे आना पड़ेगा, बेटा बैठ, मैं भी आपके साथ बैठती हूँ। अभी एक कहानी है कि ट्रेन में कभी सफर किया था मैंने, देखा कि एक मम्मी है तो किताब पढ़ती है और उसके बच्चे भी किताब पढ़ते हैं। ले ऐसे हैबिट कैसे हुई बच्चे? बोली जब बच्चे घर पे आते हैं उस टाइम में अपना मोबाइल फोन टीवी ऑफ कर देती हूँ, अपनी किताब है, न्यूज़पेपर है पढ़, और बच्चे मेरे को देख करके ही ऐसा करते। एक डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन इफेक्ट है, क्योंकि घर में जो बच्चा देखता है वो बच्चों के ऊपर उस चीज का इफेक्ट पड़ता है। तो इसलिए पेरेंट्स की ये ड्यूटी है कि जब भी बच्चा घर में है उसके लिए टाइम दो। टाइम का मैनेजमेंट है वो फैमिली के ऊपर डिपेंड करता है कि वो टाइम मैनेजमेंट कर पाते हैं। अगर कोई पेरेंट्स इन्वॉल्व करते हैं उनके बच्चे बहुत ग्रो, सोशली भी, एकेडमिकली भी, इमोशनली भी। तो इसलिए पेरेंट्स का रोल है, जब भी पेरेंट्स आते हैं, टीचर्स के लिए बहुत बड़ा रिसोर्स है पेरेंट्स, क्योंकि टीचर को पता लगता है कि बच्चे की नीड क्या है, बिहेव क्या है, उसकी हैबिट क्या है, उसका लर्निंग प्रोसेस क्या है। जब टीचर से कांटेक्ट में रहेंगे पेरेंट्स तो बच्चे के बारे में काफी कुछ सीखेंगे। तो इसलिए पेरेंट्स की स्पोर्ट्स में जब भी पीटीएम होती है सभी बुलाते होंगे, वैसे छोटी छोटी ऐसी एक्टिविटी हर एक स्कूल को करनी चाहिए कि पेरेंट्स उसके अंदर इन्वॉल्व हो। पेरेंट्स डे, मदर डे, फादर डे सेलिब्रेट कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि पीटीएम, एनुअल फंक्शन, स्पोर्ट्स मीट सभी स्कूल्स में होती है, लेकिन इसमें गैदरिंग होती है कि हम फेस टू फेस या बहुत कम पेरेंट्स से इंटरेक्ट कर पाते हैं। इसलिए जब भी बच्चे की कोई प्रॉब्लम है उससे आप टेलीफोनिकली बात करें, जूम मीटिंग करें, कॉल करें, तो उससे इन्वॉल्वमेंट पेरेंट्स की बहुत जरूरी है। क्योंकि जब बच्चे के ऊपर एक प्रेशर ना डाले पेरेंट्स, कंपेयर ना करे दूसरे के साथ कि आपने फर्स्ट आना है, आपने डिस्टिंक्शन लेके आना है, आपने इतना स्कोर करना है, क्योंकि हर एक बच्चे की अपने लर्निंग प्रोसेस होती है, वो सीखता है, उसको मोटिवेशन मिलना चाहिए। अब बच्चे ने डे टू डे की एक्टिविटी है, अगर उसमें इन्वॉल्व करेगा, उसकी छोटी छोटी बातों के अंदर पेरेंट्स इंटरेस्ट दिखाएगा, तो बच्चा बताएगा, स्कूल की हर बात बताता है, आज मैडम से ये बात हुई, मैम ने ऐसा कहा है, आज मेरे फ्रेंड्स ने ये किया है, आज मेरा जो फ्रेंड है वो खाने में ये चीज लेके आया था। तो आकर के इन सारी चीजों से है ना, जब इन्वॉल्व होंगे ना पेरेंट्स, वो सारी चीजें इनसे सीख पाएंगे। इसलिए पेरेंट्स की इन्वॉल्वमेंट है जो एक एजुकेशन जर्नी में बहुत एक क्रूशियल रोल प्ले करती है, और हर एक पेरेंट्स को अपना टाइम स्पेयर करके बच्चे को टाइम देना चाहिए। और लगभग मैं मानता हूँ कि सीनियर सेकेंडरी +2 लेवल तक तो हर एक, क्योंकि बच्चे ही मैच्योर होते हैं, आजकल फोन का उसका जमाना है, सभी फोन पे इन्वॉल्व होते हैं और गलत चीजों में वो बच्चे लग जाते हैं। इसलिए पेरेंट्स को उनके ऊपर भी मॉनिटरिंग करनी चाहिए, स्ट्रेस नहीं, क्योंकि बच्चा स्कूल में स्ट्रेस में आता है, टीचर का स्ट्रेस है, एक डिसिप्लिन एनवायरनमेंट है, घर में आकर के भी ऐसा बच्चे को फ्री छोड़े लेकिन मॉनिटरिंग करें। इसलिए उसका स्टेप टू स्टेप उसमें इन्वॉल्व होना, उसकी छोटी छोटी चीजों में रुचि लेना। अब बहुत से ऐसे मौके आता है जहाँ पेरेंट्स का रोल बहुत जरूरी है। प्रोजेक्ट बनाने के लिए दे दिया है, अभी यूट्यूब पे बच्चे देख लेते हैं, क्योंकि स्कूल्स में इतना टाइम नहीं होता टीचर्स के पास भी कि एक एक बच्चे को वो प्रोजेक्ट के साथ इन्वॉल्व होके वो तैयारी करवाए। वहां पर पेरेंट्स का रोल बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है। यूट्यूब पे बच्चा देख लेता है, देख करके बच्चे में इतनी मेच्योरिटी नहीं है कि वो सारी चीज बना देगा। अगर पेरेंट्स उसके साथ इन्वॉल्व हो गए, बहुत अच्छे प्रोजेक्ट है, बहुत अच्छे मॉडल्स है, वो बच्चे बना सकते हैं। कुछ एजुकेशनल चीजें ऐसी है, तो इसलिए पेरेंट्स के रोल को तो कोई भी नेग्लेक्ट नहीं कर सकता, क्योंकि ये हमारे स्कूल्स के प्रिंसिपल्स डायरेक्टर्स के लेवल की बात नहीं है। पेरेंट्स को समझना चाहिए कि जो हम कर रहे हैं, इतनी सारी अर्निंग कर रहे हैं, वो किसके लिए कर रहे हैं? बच्चे के लिए कर रहे हैं। अगर उसकी एजुकेशन जर्नी का हम पार्ट नहीं बनेंगे, उसकी डे टू डे लाइफ का हम पार्ट नहीं बनेंगे, उसकी छोटी छोटी बातों में हम इंटरेस्ट नहीं दिखाएंगे, जब स्कूल से कॉल आती है जो सारे काम छोड़ के स्कूल में नहीं जाएंगे, हम प्रिंसिपल से बात नहीं करेंगे, टीचर से बात नहीं करेंगे, तो फिर बच्चे के मन में जाती है कि कुछ नहीं उसकी प्रोग्रेस। अगर बच्चे को ये कहा जाए बेटा बहुत बढ़िया है, बताओ आपकी एग्जाम के दौरान है, जब एग्जाम स्टार्ट होते हैं बच्चा तैयारी करता है, घर पे हर एक पेरेंट्स को इन्वॉल्व होना चाहिए, बीच बीच में पूछना चाहिए कि बेटा कितनी तैयारी हुई, 1 यूनिट तैयारी हो गई, उसको शाबाश बेटा वेरी गुड, अभी कितनी रहेगी 2 यूनिट, शाबाश आपने 1 यूनिट कर ली, दूसरी यूनिट भी आप बड़ी इजिली कर सकते। एक बार मेरे पास स्टूडेंट आया, सर बायोलॉजी समझ में नहीं। क्यों नहीं समझ में? कुछ नहीं आता। मैं कहा बायोलॉजी की बुक्स लेके आओ, कंटेंट से निकालिए, आप इसमें से टिक मार्क कीजिए कि आपको इसमें से 100% कौन कौन से चैप्टर। उसने टिक मार्क किया, 50% चैप्टर है। अब इसमें टिक मार्क करो जिसमें से आपको 90% आता है। उसने किया, उसको 80% तैयारी थी, सिर्फ 20% तैयारी ना होने की वजह से माइंड पे स्ट्रेस हो गया, तेरे को बायोलॉजी नहीं आती, मैथमेटिक्स नहीं आता, हिंदी नहीं आती। तो बच्चे में थोड़ा सा कॉन्फिडेंस लेवल क्रिएट करने के लिए पेरेंट्स को इन्वॉल्व होना पड़ेगा। बेटा ऐसी कोई बात नहीं है, आपने इतना कर लिया, आगे भी कर सकते हो, अभी तक करते आए हो। इसलिए थोड़ा सा ये नहीं है कि इस बार आपने फर्स्ट आना है, फर्स्ट में नहीं आए तो ये नहीं है, उस बच्चे से आगे निकलना है, ये ग्रेड लेके आना है। थोड़ा सा पेरेंट्स को इन चीजों को अवॉइड करना चाहिए। बच्चा सीखेगा जितना हम उसको फ्री छोड़ेंगे। एक बार गाइड कर दी, एक बच्चे को सारी चीजें रिसोर्स कर दे, उसके बाद बच्चे को अपने माइंड को डेवलप होने का टाइम देना चाहिए। और उसमें क्योंकि स्कूल में बच्चा 6 घंटे 7 घंटे रहे, बाकी टाइम में पेरेंट्स के पास है, इसलिए पेरेंट्स इन्वॉल्वमेंट उसमें बहुत जरूरी है, क्योंकि सारा
Very true, sir. Very true that the role of parents and their involvement is very very important in a child's educational journey. आपने बड़े अच्छे से बताया, इन बड़े स्पष्ट शब्दों में आपने इस चीज को एक्सप्लेन किया। मैं इसी का जो अगला क्वेश्चन है, मैं अल्पना मैम के पास आई वुड लाइक टू आस्क हर कि जो सर ने पूरा बताया, तो हाउ कैन दिस रोल ऑफ the home and the school and this partnership. So what can the school do to strengthen this? So Alpana ma'am, if you could just tell us something about this.
Namaskar Vibha ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you Intab. First of all, I would like to I just wanted to translate whatever the sir has said regarding the parenting. Parenting plays a very important role, and this parenting term include few questions: why, how, and where. So the why parenting plays a very important role, because see, without the support of parent, a teacher cannot be successful to develop the overall development among that child's. And the support of the parent plays crucial role, because not only for the academic achievements, but yes, it will help for boost the motivation, positive attitudes towards the learning. How we can include this parenting? So the parents' participation plays very important role. If we are going to invite the parent, and they will help us in the child journey with the help of schools event, curricular activities, discussion regarding the school experience, whatever the child has experienced during the school hours, the parents need to discuss each and everything. And the school is the place where a parent and teachers can come together and they both can work for the development and the growth of a child. I believe parents are very much aware regarding their own whatever the business they are doing. They can share their experience with the students. In fact, recently we have started such kind of activities in our campus, that we are inviting the parents, and the parents are sharing their experiences. They all are sharing their work experience with the students, and that's how our childs are getting a vocational training over the school campus. What are the things that can we all can do to make this parents and teachers a strong relationship that will be beneficial for the student growth and development? We can, first of all, we need to motivate, we need to conduct some workshops as well as seminars that can be organized to educate the parents on the effective parenting strategies, because few of the parents are not aware about what is their role for the development of a child. Ma'am, my school is in a very outcast area where approximately 60 students are belongs from the families where the parents are not educated even, and they're not taking part in the development of any of the child's growth. So I believe, first of all, the parents should be aware. We need to provide the workshops as well as seminar where parents will get to know about the parenting, the importance of parenting, and why parents plays an important role. So the parents need to understand all these things. Moreover, involving in parents in decision making process, such as a school committee, advisory board, we can provide valuable perspectives that contribute in shaping the school's policies and practices. So that's how we can involve the parents over the growth of student development, their holistic growth. A strong partnership between the school and the parents create a positive environment where the education journey become a shared responsibility. This collaborative efforts maximize the impact of education on the child's development, fostering a love for learning and preparing them for the successful future. Education is the journey best to travel together, with the school as a guide and parents as cherished companion, forging a path that nurture not just the mind, but the heart and soul of every child. I still remember the quote which was written on my school board during my school time. It was written over the main gate of Navodaya school, that Siksharth Aaye, Sevarth Jaiye. So this quotation can be possible only when parents and the teachers or the school as well as homes work together for the development and the growth of every child. Because the child has started his journey from the home and reaches to the school for getting education and to get succeed in rest other areas. And once the child will get education, completion of his education, then can go back to the home to serve the people. That's all from my side. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, everyone.
Very rightly said, the parental involvement and the shared decision is very important. That's the reason we have the PTA members and we have the SMC and all the special day celebrations. So, moving on, my next question goes to Preeta Venugopal, ma'am. Ma'am, we are talking about holistic education in today's time. So, if you could just, tell us something about that. How does education contribute to shaping a well-rounded individual with a strong sense of empathy, then ethical decision making and global citizenship? So we are, going ahead and looking forward to really empower everything, whatever NEP has been telling us. So if you could just throw some light on this, ma'am, please.
Thank you, Vibha, ma'am. I'm glad I'm here as part of this conference, listening to so many educators. And I see you're all wearing warm clothes. It's quite The winter is quite, a bit heavy there, big there. But I'm from Kerala, and in Kerala it's as warm as ever. So that's a fresh change to me, when I see people in winter clothes. So coming on to the topic of discussion, um, I have always believed in this saying: we are educators who were trained yesterday, training today's children to face the challenges of tomorrow. So it's very important that we update ourselves first before thinking of updating any kind of other systems that we have. We have to update ourselves with the present trends. We have to foresee what is happening, going to happen tomorrow, so that we can equip our children for today. Now, let's look at the definition of education as such. I think it is time to have a paradigm shift to the word education. Very often it is misinterpreted as something where it's just dissemination of information that you are looking for. You teach them perfectly so that they give perfect answers to perfect in perfect manner with all the steps written. But is it what we are actually looking for? Education should be much more and much beyond that. Education is helping the child to use the knowledge or the vast amount of information that is available to him, because dissemination of information is not important these days. It's available at the click of a button. So what are we doing as educators? What are we doing differently as educators or facilitators? It is up to us to train them to use the kind of knowledge that we are giving, or the information that we are giving, well, in an ethical manner. How to how to face the various challenges that comes into their life in various scenarios as they go ahead, and much more than that, how to keep their integrity and moral values intact in whatever scenario that they are facing. For example, the Holocaust or atom bombs, which were instruments of mass destruction and genocide, were not designed by morons or uneducated people. They were designed by scientists. They were designed by engineers. So, have they done full justice to the education that they got, or have they just used the information and knowledge that they have? I think that is where the shift should be. We must educate them to use the knowledge that they have in positive ways, which would benefit others socially, emotionally. So, like I said, it's not only about IQ that we must stress on, it is more about EQ, the emotional quotient, the social quotient, and there is something new called the SM quotient, which is the stress management quotient. Because I'm sure you all might have faced the various challenges where children have been stressed out due to some reason or the other. It could be economic pressure, it could be parental pressure, it could be academic pressure. Due to some reason or the other, everybody is stressed out. And that is a common scenario, common problem that we all face. I think that is where education comes in: how to manage stress, how to adapt yourself to different situations that you have. And this can be done by only giving them practical training. How much ever bookish knowledge you give them, it is not going to help. You have to be living examples of what you are preaching. You have to give them simulated environment where they come across real time situations. You have to build a buddy group where they can support each other. You have to give them an inclusive atmosphere where they understand that people are different, and you have to coexist in this world with different kinds of people. It is these kind of values that we have to foster, and the feeling of the or the idea of improvement. I usually write congratulatory notes, definitely to those who have scored 90 and 95 and all, but then I also make it a point to write appreciation notes for those who have gone from 50 to 60% or 60 to 70%, because they have made an attempt, and that attempt is supposed to be appreciated. If you support them in the grassroots level, eventually they are going to go where we are fathoming them to go, where we expect them to go. So that kind of push or encouragement means a lot to a child's mind, whether it comes from a parent, a teacher, or from the principal. that kind of encouragement is what we should um, give the children. And I feel a nurtured mind eventually takes them to a better world, and we can create a better world if you have got a mind which is nurtured positively more than a mind which has got a lot of information. Thank you.
That is really nice. The way you said, that you've been giving that support system. So the empathy that you carry is already so much that you're appreciating children who are getting from a 50 to a 60% also. That's really, really nice. Thank you for sharing that. My next question goes to Uma Shankar, sir. Sir, how does access to quality education impact an individual's ability to unlock and achieve success in their personal and professional lives?
A very good evening, gentlemen and all respected and reputed educators, knowledge managers, chief learning officers. At the outset, I would like to extend my wholehearted thanks to INTAB for bringing all of us together on a platform to discuss various aspects of education. When it comes to quality education, we need to understand and look into the aspects of quality. What is quality, in fact? And quality for what? Quality, to my mind, implies and signifies a kind of aesthetic sense, a sense of proportions, quality approach, action, and attitude that we have to ensure for the children to learn. When we talk about education, I personally feel that, we need to become a connecting school where we have to connect with every single learner to understand a specific learning style, speed, strength, stamina, aspirations, and deficiencies. Then we have to connect with, I would say, the curriculum. Then we have to connect with the concept. Then we need to connect with, I would say, the context which we need to create as a part of learning experience. We just need to create a learning experience which can enable this learner to become an active reflector, self-learners. Then we have to connect with the community. My point is that we have to understand the sense of connection. And sense of connection also, in fact, calls for a kind of generation of relationship. We have to generate good relationship with our own self, first of all. I feel that, we need to understand our own selves so that we can, in fact, just be a good operator, good, I would say, the translator of the ideas and ideology that we carry. I feel that, सोच को बदलो सितारे बदल जाएंगे, और नजर को बदलो नजारे बदल जाएंगे, और कश्ती को बदलने की जरूरत नहीं है, रुख को बदलो किनारे बदल जाएंगे, यानी दिशा. And there are four things only which need to just transform: चिंतन, चेतना, charitra or charit, and chit. So chintan is very important, and the basic, in fact, goal, or I would say that core goal and vision of education is the transformation of character. This is, I would say, the real goal of education, to form good character. Then when it comes to, I would say that quality, then we will definitely accept that we have to just go for a quality to bring in the teaching learning process, teaching learning purpose, teaching learning program, and teaching learning product, which is synonymous with outcome. But before that, we also need to understand the objective of the lesson, objective of the curriculum, objective of the age, and objective of life at large. All together, we have to see that how we can, in fact, work together, how we can make, I would say, sincere efforts to create, I would say that, total quality person among learners who are going to, I would say, face the world full of changes and challenges. So we need to accept the child, first of all. That is why I told now we have to connect with the child, first of all. We have to understand the child, we have to accept. And for that, we have to engage the child and to explore the possibility and the passion that he has. And based on the passion and potential that he is having and he is possessed with by default, we need to work on that. We need to infuse. We need to empower the children. And then we have to evaluate. So it's I would say, it's a whole process. It's a cyclic process that we have to go for. So this is very, very important to understand. And apart from that, as I told you, teaching learning process, it is all about the process that makes a difference. The process in, I would say, the relation, the process assessment. When we talk about the teaching does not happen at all. Teaching, in fact, goes side by assessment. When you talk about assessment is not at all meant for academic assessment, but we also need to create, I would say, the holistic learning profile, wherein we have to understand the child first of all. Depending on the child, no, we can in fact go for or adopt, I would say, need-based education as per the need of a child, not the demand. Need of the child, because we are the experts. We are the guide who can understand the child, and depending on the need of the child, we can, I would say, that formulate the strategy, teaching learning strategy. But to my mind, once again, if you talk about quality education does not in fact get over when the result comes in terms of the marks that they re-forget. No, we have to see how children should be taught the way how to make self-management. Self-management, ultimately, education is a skill and process to in fact teach the child, train the child to make a right decision, to make, I would say, the self-management. No kind of self-management can happen at all unless we learn the way how to make thought management. It is all about thought. It is all about attitude. So, you are well aware, and all of us, all my friends are well acquainted with, I would say, the core goals of education and the teaching. That knowledge, we have to see that at the end of the course, to what extent the children have got the knowledge, then capacity or their skills or competencies, then values, and then dispositions. Altogether, we have to bring about a change in the thought process, in the mindset, in the values, because life is all about meaningless unless we create values. Unless we, in fact, create values among the children to inculcate and imbibe. Because ultimately, the value that they imbibe, that they carry forward after they graduate from the school and the colleges, then they can, in fact, I would say, in their decision makings, their perspectives, their perception will be influenced by the values. That's very important. That if I told a सोच को लोग सितारे बदलो नजारे बदल जाएंगे, अब कश्ती को बदलने की जरूरत नहीं है. So what I mean to say, the action is more important than speed. So we have to also to see the speed. To what extent we can gear up the speed, adjust the speed according to the speed of a learning speed of a child. But quality in individual's life can only happen if we accept the child as he or she is. Then we have to enthuse, we have to motivate. We need to accept. पहले दिल में उतरो तब दिमाग में उतरो. होता क्या है कि पहले हम दिमाग में उतरना चाहते हैं, वो तो पहले दिल में उतरना है. पहले बच्चों को अपना बनाना है, so that the children also accept us. कि भाई हमारे teachers हैं. So we need to create. All my previous friends, previous speakers, my respected friends, have spoken a lot about it. The role of parents. It's very important for the parent to, I would say, play pivotal role in, because school is family the first school. Parents are the first teachers. That's very important. So, education, to my mind, is the role of a community, the role of all stakeholders who are connected with each one another. It's not the role of only a teacher, the formal teacher, or the professional teaching professionals in the school. But whatever the things which are learned by the children are verified in real life situations. But that is very important for us to create a conducive environment, not only in the school, but also at home or in community. It's actually a concern of a society. So every single person involved in the teaching learning program, the process, should in fact play a very important role, directly and indirectly. So that we can create, I would say, the very beautiful world to live together. That's very important. So all together we have to see that how we can, go for need-based education. But there has to be a system, measurement, mechanism, teaching mechanism and measurement. How we can measure, how we can assess, make the holistic assessment of a child's learning, not in terms of academics, but in terms of coursework areas, in terms of literacy, not about subject literacy as an academician, but moral literacy, media literacy, human literacy, legal literacy, social literacy. These are the various aspects which are very, very important for the teachers to look into. That's very important. We have to just take, I would say, as a whole, the important different components of education, different components of quality. Quality is a very big term. Quality cannot be summed up in one word. The quality education is a process. So quality of life, I would say, because ultimately we need to prepare the child not for the exam, but for life, the life which is full of quality, where children can in fact have beautiful life, having beautiful
Beautifully
relationships.
worded, sir. कितने अच्छे से आपने बताया कि it's not just the student, it's about the life. So education it's such a big concept, and we are limiting it. We are putting silos there. So very, very beautifully worded, sir. Just feel like hearing you and hearing you continuously. बहुत अच्छे से.
Thank you, Vivanan. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. So my last question goes to Sanjay Datta, sir. Sir, Abhi Uma Shankar sir said that it's education is not limited. So, sir, if you could just tell us that in what ways can education shape the future opportunities and outcomes for individuals, communities, and societies as a whole?
Vibha ma'am, always a challenge to be the last speaker. People are tired. People want to wind up their day.
No, we're going to listen to you. We're going to listen every word you say.
Well, thank you. That was the encouragement I was looking for. Honestly, picking up questions also, I think I was the last one. So by default, I am the one who has a most different take on things. And that is because I realize when you ask me that, there are, how can the school shape the future? We have to see how much of autonomy does the school have. You have a national curriculum. You have hardly a syllabus to teach and complete in 12 months' time, and not even 12 months in all honesty. And then you have the issue of do you really ask or involve the community and ask them what they want to do, what their kids want to learn? Because I'm a man of history, and in history, we've always read about the guilds teaching their children. When you look at the schooling system as to how it came about, it has taken birth, and it has evolved from the fact that there used to be a vocational education at all times, which suddenly got boxed into making either officers or babus. You look at the Industrial Revolution and you realize what has caused this kind of disruption in the traditional ways of learning. So for children's future to be decided by a school, you have to provide community schools. You can't provide a school that is following a syllabi made in some distant foreign land and then expect that the community is going to be benefited from it. So that's my first take on whether or how can schools help in shaping the future of a child, then a family, and then the society as such. If you notice, after the Second World War, the colonial system kind of came to an end in the East. China adopted a very different policy. Japan went on to make their own syllabi, but we somehow stuck to our colonial masters. And the result is for all to see, because even a small country like Singapore has been able to make progress, which we have not been able to. To answer that question, have a look at what they are teaching. WhatsApp and internet has its own jokes, and jokes such as that, can you please tell me where to use that theta that you taught me so hard in school? The fact is that the education that we are giving is not something that children are applying. The recent emphasis on making entrepreneurs is a great thing. We are now finally teaching financial literacy to kids. We are teaching life skills to them. We are talking about gender equality in the right sense. Now, these are the things, from where a happy family would emanate. These are the places from where an economically sound person would come out. This is where, when you talk about, psychological issues, that is where their ability to raise children come. I talk to children. My class 12th, I asked them, I said, look, you got few months to go before your board exams. Tell me, how many of you are prepared for your exam? And they ask me now, what's the hurry? And I tell them that the college that they go to is going to decide the future they get, the spouse they get. And are you thinking really that in X years you will be a father or a mother and you are ready for it? So schools will have to definitely, within the curriculum foundations, come at some kind of, community service. You have to do, there are horses for courses, but you'll have to make courses for these horses. Because a taluka village in Maharashtra, there is a different aspiration altogether, a different industry in the neighborhood. In Punjab, it's completely different. And I'm not talking teaching them how to get a visa, but which is what seems to be their aim. We always joke about that. They should be taught how to fill up a visa application because Canada is where they want to be. But then you have to think. And I was in Ladakh, and I've done quite a bit of exchange with Mr. Wangchuk, and he said, teaching a railways track to a child in Ladakh or a camel, it doesn't make sense. That's because it's not relevant to their lives. Now, the basis of the common curriculum has always been that you are preparing people for all kinds of vocations, which is a great idea, that wherever they may choose to go, a bouquet from which they can pick up according to their own interest and go on to make a career. So you do not limit their choices. But please understand, today there is no limitation on their choices. Their choices are very clear to them even before they come to grade 10. They start talking about careers, they are becoming entrepreneurs, they are trading, they are doing online work. So to give that as a reason for teaching them a straight jacketed curriculum is now not tenable. So we must look at, when you ask, I come again for the third time, that when you ask me the question that how do schools shape a family or a person or a society, I say that allow them to build their own curriculums. Yes, let them be tested nationally, give them ranks, give them something on which they can be judged across the world. Do all that, but do allow that much of autonomy to schools that they can be what they were meant to be in the first place, and that is community centers. I heard one of the speakers say that they are inviting parents to come in and they have their skill sets and those are being transferred. Wonderful. NEP is talking the same. But then, does my curriculum allow me to do that? Is a big question mark. So, in all honesty, under present condition, very difficult. Although, yes, it does happen. You have a scenic school, people, you are building a child for a military service. So that's clear. You have people who are coming from a corporate background in a school in Gurgaon or Mumbai, upmarket. Yes, you are preparing them for a corporate life. Just like the MBAs, The whole point of MBAs used to be that they would go join the corporate world. But having said that, I end with the same plea that yes, schools can do it, but then you will have to give them autonomy and you will have to bring the society in, make them community centers, allow the teachers to do what they are best at, and that is to teach according to the child and not, teach the book to the child. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Beautifully worded. But then I think the teacher training also, has to be really robust, that their teachers are actually dynamic. And when we're looking for teachers, it is not like a profession wherein kuch nahi bane to teacher ban gaye, but it should be as tough as appearing for an IAS or an IFS exam.
Vibha ma'am, I'm happy to bring up that B.Ed is now not going to be the only criteria for teaching. We are breaking it up according to the new 5+3+4 pattern. So hopefully that should happen. And secondly, again, the only point I picked up from everybody else was this point of allowing the parents to come in, that you will have to get the resource into the school. You have to allow. I mean, how long will we deny a qualified IITian not to teach in a school just because he doesn't have a B.Ed? So we will have to break those silos. Once you do that, you have everybody in.
Very true. So
thank you for being so alert at the end of the day. I was just trying to skip it through.
I'm on my job.
I like that. Thank you.
Thank you. So it's been a wonderful deliberation, extremely insightful, and we've heard about so many good things. And every time that I feel that we are in such sessions, there's so many things that we know, but there's always the revision that happens. So starting with that, how the two C's of connect and correct are very important, was very nice. Then we came up to the challenges which are there, the challenges of the resources which are there, the challenges which are there of the different communities which are there, the financial challenges which are there. So CBSE says that you should have your schools which should have lifts, and they should have, big libraries, but can everyone afford that is again a challenge, and how we're coming these challenges. So came up with the educate, encourage, and enlighten. So that was beautiful. So, when we give education, encouragement is extremely important. And once education and encouragement, both of them are together, so definitely there is going to be enlightenment. And then Trilok sir also spoke about the technology integration, which was very, very explicit, where he mentioned about, how the engagement can be enhanced. And this is the need of the hour. We cannot tell that my child is using the phone. It has to be dealt with in a more positive manner. So he came across with how this digital literacy could actually make children much smarter, and that's how it's going to be. We're no more going to learn the spellings or do the calculations as we did in the earlier time. Then we also learnt about the peer learning, how the theory of multiple intelligence, and how the home tasks have to be designed differently. So we cannot just say that differentiated learning is only going to be there in the classroom. That also has to come at our homes, where we have to see that if a child, whatever the capability the child has, there has to be adaptive learning that is extremely important. And we also have to have a sense of self reflection when it comes to the assessment. So where has the child gone wrong? What is that we need to work on? So we also here spoke about fostering creativity, open-ended questions, mind mapping, and the different techniques that we are going to be using for problem solving. Also, we spoke about how the parental community and how the parents' role is very important, and how we could connect the school and the parents by having special days where you could call the parents. Maybe it would be for a talk, maybe it could be for a storytelling session, or involve them in a decision making, like even to the extent of making the vision of the school, the SMCs, the PTMs. So it's very, very important. Another thing which I really liked today was the SMQ, which was the stress management quotient, very beautifully told that it is not only about the IQ, but EQ and AQ also that we are teaching our children. So empathy becomes very important. And along with all these strings, the SMQ, which ma'am mentioned, the stress management quotient, is very important. We need to teach our children how to manage and control their stress. So towards the end, we also came that what is quality education, and it is leading to the aesthetic sense. And sir, Uma Shankar sir beautifully mentioned कि जो हमारी जो किश्ती है, उसका हमें सिर्फ थोड़ा सा मतलब किश्ती बदलने की जरूरत नहीं है, उसका रुख बदलने की जरूरत नहीं है. और very nicely he spoke, which we all speak, कि पहले दिल में उतारो फिर दिमाग में उतारो. तो before teaching a child, we have to form the connect. That connect is extremely, extremely important, because unless we connect and there's a rapport with the students, the education is going to be absolutely futile. Children will never learn. So for learning, this is very important. And towards the end, Sanjay Datta sir, summed it up, and he told us that education cannot be, it's not one size fitting all. It has to be specific. If I'm good at something, I should be excelling in that. And now it is coming up. This power of education is coming up further. We are seeing that education has to be as per our needs. So, and it could not be, that in one area we are teaching something where it is absolutely not relevant. So, we have to encourage our children to come up with different, ideas. Their entrepreneurial skills have to be different. And with this, I'll just share a very small example that, generally there is the Christmas is around the corner, and a lot of schools, what they do, they have Christmas carnivals. They're huge Christmas carnivals. So instead of having a huge Christmas carnival in our school, what we did, we had an entrepreneurial carnival wherein we encourage children that you are the ones who are going to put the stall. You are the one who's going to make the project report. Your parents are like the bankers. Figure out what is the rate of interest, what is that you take from them, what is that you give, how do you increase your marketing, how do you increase your sales. So schools will have to think differently so that this education could be the real education, and it could actually unlock the potential of each and every human being, every person, and it could benefit the community and the world as a whole. So with this, I would actually express my gratitude to each one of you for being so active and alert and answering all these questions beautifully. And I would hand it over to Nandini. So if she could just take it over from here.
Thank you so much, Vibha ma'am, and also thank you so much to all the educators for imparting your knowledge and experience to the topic. And it was indeed a very insightful and informative session. So, looking forward to many more sessions with you all. So, I would like to sign off from this panel discussion. Thank you so much once again, everyone.
So
Thank
much.
you. Namaskar. Thank
Thank
you.
Thank you,
you.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Wish you all a
Thank
very
you,
happy
everyone.
Christmas and a very happy
Thank
New
you.
Year.
Merry
Thank
Christmas
you.
and Happy New Year to all.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.